G'day YouTubers, how's everybody doing? This is the second episode of The Awakening. It is September 14th, 2012. May be asking, where was the first episode of The Awakening? Well, I had originally called this series Reality Check. After doing some research, I found there are a lot of channels and people using the term reality check. I probably subconsciously heard it on a news station or something, so I'm changing that up just so I don't sound like a copycat, so I'm not repetitive. There are probably other shows or videos or news podcasts called The Awakening, but I like it better. That's what I'm going with. This is the second episode of The Awakening. What I'm going to talk to you about today is the monetary system today in the United States. Yesterday was a monumental day that will go down in infamy. September 13th, 2012. The reason this day will go down in infamy is because Ben Bernanke, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, for those of you who don't know, the private body of men who have the godlike power to create money out of thin air, dollars out of thin air, Federal Reserve notes out of thin air. Ben Bernanke announced yesterday that he would come out with quantitative easing 3, QE3. If you hear this in the news, that's what it is, QE3. What is QE3, you might ask? Well, QE3 is, in a nutshell, a promise by Ben Bernanke, the Federal Reserve Bank, the central bank of the United States. QE3 is Ben Bernanke and the Federal Reserve Board promise to continue to stimulate the American economy and therefore the economies of the world, to continually, perpetually stimulate these economies into oblivion. What does that mean, stimulate? They are going to purchase bonds from the U.S. Treasury. What does that mean? They're going to trade paper dollars or Federal Reserve notes to the Treasury. In return, they will receive bonds. They're going to purchase bonds. Basically just passing over one IOU to the Treasury of the United States for another IOU, a Treasury bond. What this does is basically indebts the United States taxpayers, the future taxpayers of the United States. It indebts us to this private bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, because in the future, when the Federal Reserve wants to unload these bonds, we, the taxpayer, will have to repay them. It's a huge, huge Ponzi scheme, and it's been going on for over a century. What this does is it creates monetary inflation. Everybody knows that there is inflation. 10 years from now, things are going to cost a whole lot more in dollars than they do today. That's the way it's been going for the last century. What a coincidence. That's how long the Federal Reserve has been around. So, how do you protect yourself from inflation? Because if you do not take steps to protect yourself from inflation, you will slowly be eroded by the confiscation of your wealth via inflation your whole life. So how do you protect yourself? You protect yourself by purchasing commodities as quickly as you can to unload the Federal Reserve notes or dollars that you earn at your laborious job. What are some easy ways to get into the commodity market? Some very safe ways and a near perfect combatant to inflation. Metals, precious metals, semi-precious metals, coins with real intrinsic value. That's how you protect yourself, and that's how you hurt those in power at the Federal Reserve, at all the other central banks, at the governments who are cooperating in this confiscation of our wealth for the banksters, for the heads of the corporations, etc. So today I'm going to show you some ways that I am protecting myself from inflation. And why don't we start out with nickels. Nickels, the beauty of nickels are every nickel that has been minted since its inception, I don't know the exact date, but for many, many years in the United States, today has more metal content value than the face value. What this means is you can't go wrong buying nickels. Go to your bank, or every time you're at your bank, take out $20, $50, however much you want in nickels. Exchange your fiat currency, your paper currency, your digital currency in your checking account for some nickels. It's really easy. You don't have to sort through change. You go to your bank, you get the nickels, and you stash them. That's it. Very simple. Anyone can do it. Even if you're super busy, start stacking nickels. And let's look at this example. I looked up all this information at coinflation.com. You can do the same. It's a great site. So here we go. The Awakening. Nickel metal value as of today, September 14th, 2012. 5.35 cents of metal value. That means that every nickel you trade in fiat currency for, you're getting over 1/3 of a cent value back. Not bad, pretty easy. So the current nickel today has 107.19% metal value over its face value. Super easy. Everyone should start doing this. Let's move on to pennies. Pennies are a little more difficult. If you want to collect pennies to store value, because you're only getting a good deal if you have pre-1983 pennies. Pre-1983 pennies are almost fully minted with copper. Copper is a very valuable metal. It's used in plumbing. It's used in electrical wire. It's a very industrious metal, which means it will most likely always have value. So, start stacking pennies too. Sort through them, separate the pre-83 ones, because a pre-83 copper penny has a metal value of 2.5 cents. As of today, September 14th, if you have pre-83 cents, you have 250% of the face value. If you're super busy and don't want to get into the crap of sorting through your change, maybe stick with the nickels. Don't do the pennies. Either way, nickels and pennies, great way to get your foot in the door, to start hoarding a currency that has intrinsic value. If you're not going to gain enough value and you don't see it a good idea to start collecting nickels and pennies for your own personal sake to preserve your wealth, if it's too small scale for you to do that, then do it for the fact that it hurts the banks. It hurts the federal treasury, and it hurts the federal government and the Federal Reserve. When you withdraw nickels and pennies and save them, it hurts these entities because it costs them more to produce them than it's worth. So they're taking a loss every time we withdraw these coins and save them. Great reason to start stacking nickels and pennies. Even if you think it won't help you out in the future, do it to get back at the system for screwing us so much. They preserve wealth as a commodity. They're a small value per coin investment. They'll be very easy to trade with, to barter with in the future if collapse happens. A great way to use them on the black market to trade for food items, etc. Along with that, it gives free people a liquid medium of exchange with intrinsic value. That's basically what I just explained. It'll be a way to trade for goods and services on a local, small level. Let's go to the third item here, which I am doing. Purchased this today after I made my bank run. Got these and some cash. Used the cash to buy this at the local coin shop. This is a roll of very good shape, 1959 quarters. Why did I pay $300 for $10 face values of quarters? Am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Silver, as of today, I found off of coinflation.com. Pre-1965 quarters. Each quarter has a value of $6.26 face value. Why is this? They are majority minted with silver. That's 2,503.65% of the face value. That's crazy. This is also considered or called junk silver. Start stacking this as well if you can afford it. Because if you have to barter, if you have to try to trade with people, and you want to use some of your liquid assets to do that, this is going to go a long ways. And with all these QEs, this is going to keep gaining value. So, after you start collecting these and you start getting to feel like you want to get in the game more, go to your local coin shop, start buying some junk silver, start buying some silver rounds, some bullion, and protect yourself that way as well. And if you're really looking to convert a lot of your wealth, start stacking gold as well. Gold and silver go hand in hand. Please leave some comments below, and thank you for watching.